Well, we're back, and I'm sorry I didn't include the trip in the videos. It turned out to be pretty hard to video. My son and I were on the trip together, and I really felt like that trip was for him and I, and taping it wasn't his favorite, so I let it go. My very sincere apologies, but I think the journey was really great. We went through New Orleans, well, lots of places, Phoenix area, San Antonio, New Orleans, Pensacola, Savannah, Charleston. We touched the Pacific, we touched the Gulf Coast, we touched the Atlantic with our, put our feet in there and hung out. I'll show some of the shots here in just a minute. But overall the car was great, so much fun. I'll give you a quick sounds video here in a minute. But let's give you the rode hard and put up wet view. So here it is in all its glory. It's very dirty. I haven't cleaned a thing on it yet. I did vacuum out the interior a little bit, but it was very comfortable. The Shieldmon seats did great. A quick view of the interior, all my road gear. It was what I remember driving an E30, plus a lot of extra kick. The car is really nice and fast and fun. Mike said it was something you could drive 10/10ths in town and not be crazy. I would only add to that it's really nice. It behaves well in regular traffic, and then when you need to go somewhere, it's ready to go for sure. So, quick look, and I'll come back and give you some thoughts. And I definitely got some perspective from driving 3,000 miles home that will be worthy to talk about and consider future direction with the car. Alright, so like I said, I'm going to do this very briefly for safety purposes, but the trip was about 3,000 miles home. It went great. The car's a little bit low, so I had some troubles and tribulations on the New Orleans streets. There was one that looked like a war site. But I just want to give you one quick listen to why I'm really already totally in love with this car. That's good fun. The car just has instant fun power. It turns and corners great. Really enjoying it so far. Alright, so here it is in my messy garage. We definitely brought it back super dirty and kind of rode hard, put up wet kind of thing. And one of the first things I'm going to do is give it a bath after I do a couple other things. So I actually have a need for a new turn signal. We're about halfway home. I managed to have the turn signal fail. No biggie. This one should do fine. Got it off eBay. Need to kind of look at it. I'm pretty sure it's original brake light switch failed also. Again, none of that's Mike's fault. Just old car. And I'm going to be pretty glad actually to get some new stuff going in it. So I'd set up my GPS and radar detector up there. The car did great overall. These Shieldmon seats are really comfortable, and we had a good time in it. There are definitely some things I'd like to do with the car that are kind of future things. Getting the dash cracks. And again, Mike was super upfront with these. They do look better in person, actually. It's kind of hard to see them in the video. You can see a couple there. But something I'd like to get addressed sooner than later, on the car. But overall, drove great. Looks really good. It's definitely got its little paint things here and there. This is a mechanical buy versus a, let's see what got going on in the back seat here. It's not meant to be a concours car. I have, since the trip, vacuumed it out a little bit. Not a thorough concours thing. I have to say, this eBay seller did a great job. So they repainted the graphics. It's, I think, been repainted on the stalk as well, but it feels very factory if they did. And re-wrapped to the loom and that kind of fuzzy OEM wiring tape. So, pretty satisfied with that. So, got the kick panel off, got to get the steering wheel, etc. off to do the switch. So I have some H&R sway bars that came with the car that Mike hadn't had a chance to install yet. A few other little things. I'm going to have to raise these wheels. The coilover is just too short for my little driveway, and I'm scraping stuff, and it hurts my soul, even if it's not hurting anything on the car. I hope it's not. But I'm going to get it up on my little QuickJack here and have a look underneath too. Let's do that. All right, successfully up on the QuickJack, which I have to say I really love. And let's go in there and see what's going on. Yeah, and in an abundance of caution, I've decided not to try to pry that out. I don't want to scrape this wheel, and my thinnest pry tool is metal, believe it or not. So I'm going to see how the screw does. So as it turns out, it does pop out pretty easily once you have the other side of it. But I think it's probably a better, gentler idea to remove the screws. And we continue. Jeez. I'm making some slow progress. Old one. Much nicer new one, including some graphics. The old one either never had or has faded away. Anyway. Alright, so in the annals of not fun, to get this loose from that connector, I had to kind of take this little skinny screwdriver and go on the inside and kind of pop it off on each side. And I think I'm going to have to do it for that little blue guy too. Okay, so I just went through all that, and I have to say, it looks pretty. However, I think what I have is a dead relay and not a dead turn signal, because much like the last time, All right, it's the next morning. My attempt to test the new switch over there disturbed something, and everything went dark, and nothing's coming on when I turn the key. So I'm hoping anyway that I just didn't, there's something down there that I need to reconnect. I'm hoping I didn't fry the ECU. That would be bad. Also have a small issue. I broke the very old cigarette lighter in the frame there, so I was just looking to confirm that the frame itself is broken, so I will replace it with something, because I have a bunch of the radar detector and the GPS, because the wheels in this car, which I have removed this morning, because the wheels are smaller diameter, it tends to run 5 degrees faster at the speedometer than reality. And until I get used to the car anyway, I kind of like the GPS showing me the speed, real time, etc. So I'll probably have the GPS, you can see the mount over there, going. So I need to figure that out, but I also am going to raise the car up a little bit so all the wheels are off. You can see the awesome but low H&R coilover setup. So I'll be addressing that here on all 4 corners, raising it up just enough because I'm scraping up Mike's beautiful work on the exhaust, so I hate to do it. So I got back here in the trunk because I'm wondering the reason things went dark up there is because I was an idiot. I don't know what the heck I was thinking. I didn't disconnect the battery. So kind of coming back here, there was some trim shine or something down there I noticed was leaking out of the little vent hole underneath. So I'm going to clean all that up. I actually noticed this is kind of dirty. This car spent life somewhere kind of dusty. I mean, it's not really, I mean, it's dirty everywhere kind of. And I noticed the only rust on the whole car is in the typical spot. So I'm going to see if I can locate another one of these little vent guys. It was covered up by what remains of this. Like when you're under the car, you didn't see it with this cap thing in place, but that kind of had deteriorated and fell off the car. There's a rubber gasket or something that screws in there, I think. But anyway, so I'm going to probably try to figure out something to remediate that, at least in the medium term. I won't necessarily do it this time, but I'm going to give this area a good cleanup too. So that's mostly dirt, not rust. But, you know, I'm going to definitely get in here and give the car a good wipe down. I'm not tracking very well, but anyway, there's just a lot of dirt in here that I'm, you know, while I'm here and have the opportunity. Probably need to figure out a spare also. So I'm going to take a minute here to kind of cut in on the trip home. It was great. Mike was awesome. He was very gracious and accommodating on the pickup and everything about getting this bad boy home in terms of my scheduling and what he did to prepare for me to drive it. It drove great all the way except for the streets of New Orleans, where it was a little too low for the, just like I said, war zone pockmarks of New Orleans, which doesn't appear to have damaged anything. I don't know, a couple things underneath the car I need to wipe down and make sure everything's copacetic. But day one was Costa Mesa to Gilbert, where I visited a buddy of mine with his 3 Series. I'm going to give you a couple pics. Day 2 was Gilbert all the way to Sonora, Texas, 800 miles. Wow. And then the next day from Sonora all the way to Baton Rouge, we saw a couple cool things there and got to watch the landscape change, of course, from very deserty to, you know, lush southern world. So day 3, we went into New Orleans, did Cafe du Monde for breakfast, went to the Pensacola Beach coast so we could dip our toes in the the Gulf Coast, I should say, or the Gulf. So now we would have done the Pacific and the Gulf. So the next day would take us to the Atlantic. So day 4 saw us go from Baton Rouge, and like I said, did the breakfast and lunch. Actually, it's been a good old time tooling around in New Orleans, all the way to Savannah, Georgia. So another long day. We got in really late in Savannah. Stayed at the Andaz downtown on one of the squares, which was really nice. Love the Andaz. And we tooled around Savannah a little bit. And then the next to last day, actually, it was an unexpected travel day. We went to see my mother-in-law in Charleston, had a kind of a personal thing there where we needed to check in and make sure everything was copacetic. So we did, and also took that opportunity to go around downtown Charleston, which is also beautiful. And then kind of late in the evening, we decided to hop in the car and get moving and get home. So we did. So that was it. Over 3,000 miles, over 40 hours. My son was super patient. He was an awesome travel buddy. Had a great time. And, you know, sorry we didn't bring you along for that journey, but I will bring you along for the rest, just as much as what we've shown here in this video. And please feel free to subscribe if you're interested in kind of seeing where this car goes and what it does. And I'm super excited about it. I know I look like I'm digging into a lot of nits and bits here, but I knew I would, you know, buying it. And, you know, it's kind of fun. This car joins an M635, an Euro M635 in the driveway. And I really love that I feel much more comfortable laying hands on this car and and doing stuff. Maybe I was a little too comfortable for the switch unit. So hopefully I haven't fried the ECU for the car. Who knows what I did, but I will figure it out. And that'll be in the next one. Not intentional cliffhanger, but I feel like this is going to go a little bit. So, you know, I'm going to clean some things. I'm going to raise the suspension. I'm going to, you know, get things tidy in the trunk. Won't address the vent hole thing quite yet. And hopefully figure out what's going on here, which is, of course, entirely my fault. But thanks for watching, and like I said, hope to see you next time. See ya.